Hello everyone. So in today's video I want to talk about mental health and personality disorder labels, and furthermore just labels and identity in general. And I want to keep this discussion relatively broad, so to say. um, because of course, as always, it's a complex topic, and Um, I don't want to necessarily offend or unnecessarily offend anyone or take something away that might be of value to them. So, first off, let me say that labels used to be pretty important to me, um, even, you know, much more important than they are still right now. And of course, I think that we can never fully live without any kind of labeling in this world. And I see and understand the reasons why we long for labels, and also, for example, a diagnosis, or, yeah, a, a term, a phrase that we can use to describe a certain aspect of our identity, or even our personality as a whole. And yeah, of course, I guess the main reason is that when you feel like there's something something either wrong with you, or that you're just very different from many other people that you have known and or observed, then you of course get this longing to have a word for it, or a label for it. And it is not just a matter of feeling understood and seen for who you are. Maybe if you come across a certain label for the first time, and it suddenly starts to or seems to explain what you've perceived and felt all along, but didn't have the right word for yet, or didn't have the right points of reference for. And also it is very, for example, in the modern world, in the internet, it is very tempting um, to take a lot of personality quizzes, or tests on about almost everything, right? Like, you can Google any topic, um, and also any kind of personality trait and or disorder, and or any matter of yeah personality, right? Or your personal style, and find a quiz that tells you who you supposedly are in this regard. Furthermore, of course, once you found a label that you resonate with, that you um, yeah make a part of your identity, it can also, of course, offer a sense of belonging once you maybe realize that there's a whole community of people like that, or of people like me, right? And yeah, so for example, when it comes to the MBTI, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, which was the main reason why I started my YouTube channel in the first place, even though it and I have kind of evolved a lot since the beginning. Um, it is also sometimes, some people are suspected that to only embrace a certain label, or identify or claim to identify with a certain label because um, they want to, be seen as part of a certain group or collective or community. And yeah, I think that's already, the transition to the more, critical or negative aspects of labels, and yeah, that I want to talk about in this video. And mm, I think, of course, there might be a difference between, the more medical side of things, when we talk about actual mental health diagnoses and uh, things that are written in the ICD and however all those um, other standard works are called. Um, a difference between that and you know a personality quiz on BuzzFeed you take just for fun maybe, or because you're bored. But there's some, I mean, in some way, they all those labels can be made as a central part of an identity if the person, coming across that label, so chooses or is made to believe that. And yeah, you know, what bothers me about the use of labels in our society is that unfortunately I see a lot of people that make one of those labels um, as a focus point, or you know a main characteristic of their whole identity or personality, and use it as an explain it all, for their whole life or their life story, or yeah, as I said, every aspect of their being. And even though I think that everyone of course has the right to do so if it helps them live their lives and or cope with life, but to me that it is very questionable, no matter if it's like a thing you self-diagnosed yourself with, like I'm a self, you know, well, maybe not diagnosed, but self-proclaimed INFJ, for example. No matter if it's something like that, or a diagnosis you maybe also received by other people, mental health professionals, or I don't know, other people in your family or your friends or whomever that somehow think that they have the authority to put a diagnosis or a label on you. And then, yeah, it becomes not just, overly focused on um, and, to the basically disadvantage of the other aspects of a person's identity. It also becomes, sadly, often enough, and I think that is already pretty much pretty widely known, but still, it often becomes an excuse for people to, yeah, to do more or less whatever they want, or at least do questionable things that if they hadn't put that label on themselves, or hadn't gotten that label by someone else, and so fully embraced it and made it their own, then they wouldn't have an explanation or a justification for their behavior. Yeah, I think I already mentioned the important pros and cons that I wanted to talk about in this video. And um, to conclude this video, I think, yeah, I would like to say that it is very important from my point of view that we are that we practice minimalism when it comes to labels that we especially attribute, or yeah, that we attribute to ourselves, or that we choose to identify with. And um, of course, especially when or if we not only identify with them, but also talk about them, let other people know about them, and portray ourselves to the world in a way where we make that label a central yeah, focus point. uh, and that we regularly maybe mentally check through um, the labels, and in some ways I would also say maybe, yeah, maybe stereotypes, or mm, yeah, the things that we have taken on, and um, if whether we still really need them, and whether there are still up to date with who we've become in the meantime also, of course. Yeah, and that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up, and till the next time, bye.